Thank you, Cory, and thank you for the incredible work you're doing on several of these sectors that we need for our state and for our nation. And I appreciate we have over 100 mayors on this call. Cory and I were both mayors. We understand that mayors are at the front line of challenges, and we keep that in mind in our work every day. So my thanks to all of you, not only for taking time, but also for what you're doing every day and facing the challenges that we have in an unprecedented fashion. I've been through September 11th, I've been through Superstorm Sandy, but I have never been through anything like this. Some of you may have seen the NJ.com story of Rutgers University's study. I will just simply tell you that for those who think that in fact this is not as serious as they may see on TV or hear others, say, it's real. It's real. It's very serious. And Dr. Fauci, who I've had several sessions with, and the Center for Disease Control, if you look at their modeling, and it sort of like reflects what Rutgers puts out for New Jersey, which means that there is a large number of people who will be infected and a large mortality rate as a result of it. And so we could be looking at anywhere between 1.7 and 2.2 million Americans, and in New Jersey that could be as high as 13,000 New Jerseyans, and these are our best estimates. The point of all of this is that one, we need to take it seriously, and two, it doesn't have to be that bad if we ultimately engage in the critical elements of bending the curve of the spread of the virus. And the only way we do that, so that we don't overwhelm our hospitals, so that we can meet the challenge of those in that 20% group who face a higher risk, is to vigorously enforce our social distancing admonitions. And I know the governor's made some tough decisions. I understand at 1 o'clock today he will issue another order. They're incredibly tough, and I recognize it, but it's critical if we're going to save lives. And so, as I have said to many who questioned our seriousness of this, I said, we can either be part of the solution or we can be part of the statistics. And we're working hard so that we're not part of the statistics. Let me very briefly, since I may have to step out because we're in an active negotiation with Secretary Mnuchin, Larry Kudlow, who is the President's economic advisor, and his various other members of the White House, along with members of the Senate Finance Committee. Let me give you a quick sense on some of I looked at the questions before I came onto the call that many of you posed. Let me give you a quick sense on several of them that hopefully will help to answer some of the questions that Cory and I have been working on. First of all, in terms of unemployment insurance, we, meaning Democrats, have put forth a very robust unemployment insurance proposal. I just walked away a little while ago from, we broke for a bit to analyze it. The response to our proposal, I think it's a good faith one. We're still working on it. It would provide benefits to the self-employed, those not eligible for regular UI, through December 31st. It would provide an additional $600 check. Right now the proposal is for 3 months. We're trying to get that for 4 months. It would share the cost of nonprofit, government, and Indian tribe UI costs through December 31st of this year. It would add 13 additional weeks of additional benefits through December 31st of this year. And it would provide federal funding for the first week of UI benefits in its totality. That's about a $250 billion package alone. And it would also include work share, which is about $1 billion. I know that many of you have reached out to us about, in the midst of this challenge, some of you have municipal bonds, some of you have to roll them over. The market has frozen entirely in the past week, and our state and local governments are going to need stable financing to continue to fight COVID-19. Yesterday, I introduced a bill that gives the Federal Reserve the authority to purchase municipal bonds to solve the liquidity crisis in that market. It's a crisis now, and if we don't fix it, states and cities are not going to be able to fund the desperate elements of critical services they need. The Federal Reserve, which is under the jurisdiction of the Banking Committee, which I also sit on, took a small step to address this on Friday, but even still, municipal bonds had their third worst day in history. So anyone that touches this market, states, municipalities, financial institutions, will tell you that feds need more statutory authority to effectively calm the markets. And so the National Association of Counties, state treasurers, government finance officers, and others have supported our bill, and working with Senator Perdue, Republican senator from Georgia, to come up with a version of this that can be bipartisan, and we're talking to the Secretary of the Treasury on it. A lot of you almost universally asked, what about small businesses? We are in the midst of trying to put a robust small business package. We are pressing the administration and Secretary Mnuchin on broad eligibility for loan forgiveness, not simply loans, which we understand, but loan forgiveness for small businesses, not just payroll assistance, and for 6 months forgiveness or something, forbearance or something similar. We're acting about actual forgiveness. So the Secretary appeared open to loan forgiveness, but of course the details have to be worked out. And on commercial loans, something that is not the government, but the commercial loans, the banking and other institutions, the administration is going to direct regulators on how to create greater flexibility for the commercial side of existing mortgages. We're also looking at a very robust SBA package in addition to loan forgiveness, and a direct grant program at SBA if banks don't show enough interest in lending to small borrowers. We're also looking at CDBG, EDA, and fire grants because we know the challenges that both the state and municipalities have. We're trying to press that in this package, and a major effort for an emergency stabilization fund for states, and hopefully we can include counties in that. So that's in my universe. There are other elements, other groups working on sectoral sections of our economy. The airline industry, obviously, New Jersey has a major hub. The casino industry, which obviously affects a significant part of our state. Those are being worked on by others. But looking at your questions, I wanted to give you a sense of the totality. So, and finally, and then I'll turn it back to Cory, is that you know, this will be the largest federal rescue program in the history of our country. I was here when we fought for $60 billion for Sandy successfully. This will be nearly $8 trillion. And so while we're working to do this with a sense of urgency, as I have said many times to my colleagues, we have to get it right. This is not an endless pot of money, and if we don't get it right in terms of how it applies and affects, then we run the damage of taking a one big shot. I'm sure we're going to come back at it again, but a one big shot in a way that doesn't produce the results that we need. We've got to get it right. So yes, there's a sense of urgency. Yes, we're trying to be bipartisan, but yes, we got to get it right. And for us, our focus is on families, on workers, on small businesses, and in our state's you know, governmental structure to be able to continue to do what they're doing. And with that, Cory, I turn it back to you.